right, guys, so number one, look, number one on the final. I do not know, the review, I do not know how many questions you guys are going to have. I would assume it's probably going to be like 35 to 40 multiple choice and then 10 to 15 free response. You'll have the entire class period, which is good. So on any of the multiple choice, you can just work backwards. You guys can plug in, you can do whatever you need to because you have answer choices. And then on the free response, you'll have to actually work them out. So if you have a question like number one, graph the line and state the solution. In order to graph a line, you have to have them in what kind of form first? Y equals mx plus b. Okay, so I have negative 2x minus 3y equals 12. And here I have 5x plus 9 equals negative, or if I just move the 3 over, it becomes positive, right? 3y. Okay, so in this first one over here, let's move the 2 and get the 3 to go away. So I'm going to add 2x to both sides. So you have negative 3y equals 2x plus 12. And then I do what? Divide each side by negative 3, correct? So when I do that, I get y equals negative 2/3 x minus 4. All right, so what that's telling you is your y-intercept is at negative 4. And your slope is negative 2/3, so your line's going to be going downwards. So down 2 over 3, up 2 over 3. So your line looks something like this. Everybody with me? Whoops, that's a bad line. I need notability. Your line looks something like that. So then our second equation, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to divide everything by 3. You guys with me on that? So I have y equals 5 over 3x plus 3. So this is telling us that our y-intercept's at positive 3. It's a positive 5/3. That means your line is going upwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Okay? 2, 3. So here are your two lines. If you had to graph them and show your solution, where is your solution? Where they do what? Where they cross. So that point would be negative what? 3 and negative 2. Now, algebraically, what could you do with that point to make sure that you're right? You could plug it in. You could take negative 3, negative 2, plug it into both of these equations, and then show that your answer is right. So if we look at something like number 2, guys, this whole beginning is, look, solving. If it does not tell you how to solve, do what you want. Yes, it says solve using any method. That means substitution or elimination. If this was a multiple choice question, the method that you choose does not matter. What matters is that you get the answer correct. On the free response part, that's where if it tells you how to solve, that's what you guys need to do in order to solve. So what would I do first here? I have my second equation has fractions in it. What could I do? Okay, let's multiply everything in the second equation by 2. Why would we do that? To get rid of the fractions. So when I multiply, it's everything. So I have my 2x plus 3y equals 1. And then my second equation is going to be negative 2x minus 3y equals what? Negative 1? You guys agree? Okay, so now I'm going to use elimination. My x's will cancel, so I have 0. My y's cancel, so I have what? 0. And then 1 minus 1 is 0. What happens when everything cancels? What's your answer here? Is it infinite many or is it no solution? It's infinite many. This is infinite many. If you came out with an untrue statement, 0 equals 7. 0 equals negative 4, something like that, then it would be no solution. But since everything cancels out, it means these two lines are the same. All right, we come here. What do we not, yeah.
Was that substitution or elimination?
That was elimination. Because we just got our x's and y's to cancel. What could I do here to make this problem a little easier? Okay, I'm going to multiply the top equation by 100. What is that, in a sense, going to do? Just move your decimal points. So this is going to become 6x plus 8y equals negative 28. What am I going to do to the bottom equation? Multiply by what? multiply by 10. So I have negative 3x minus 4y equals 14. All right, now elimination substitution. What do you guys want to do? Let's do elimination. Let's multiply the bottom equation by 2. We agree? So this will become negative 6x minus 8y equals 28. What happens with 6 and 6? Cancels. What happens with the 8 and the 8? They cancel. Negative 28, positive 28. Cancel. So what's your answer here? Infinite many. If it came out to 0 and then the 28s were two negatives, you came out with negative 56. 0 equals negative 56. Then your answer would be no solution. If you come out with an untrue math statement, your answer is no solution. Questions? We okay? All right, same thing. Solve using any method. How's this one a little bit different? There's a 2. There's a squared. So you can still use elimination if you wanted to. Substitution might be a little easier for some of us. But if you want to use substitution, I would get my y, the second equation, to say y equals. Because it's hard to get like the top one to say x equals and then plug in for x's. It doesn't really matter, though, that much. I would just work with the bottom equation. So I'm going to get y by itself here. So to do that, do you guys agree I'm going to subtract x from both sides and subtract 4? So I have negative y equals negative x minus 4. And then what do? Divide everything by negative 1. Good. So you have y equals x plus 4. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this x plus 4 and you're going to plug it in right there. So you have x squared minus x plus 4 equals negative 2. So we have to distribute this negative. X squared minus x plus 4 equals negative 2. What do I do with that negative 2? Add it to both sides. So x squared minus x plus 6 equals 0. What are the factors of 6 that'll multiply to give me 6 but add to give me a negative 1?
Is it supposed to be negative 4?
Say it again.
Is it supposed to be negative 4? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't distribute. Thank you. So then when I add this over, this becomes what, 2? Minus 2. All right, factors of 2. That'll multiply to give me negative 2, add to give me negative 1. Two and 1. So x minus 2 and x plus 1. You guys agree? All right, so my two x values are x equals positive 2 and x equals negative 1. Now, what do I do with those two x values to figure out what the y's are? You plug it in. Does it matter which equation we plug it into? No. I'm just going to use the bottom one. So I'm going to say, okay, I have 2 minus y plus 4 equals 0. What's 2 plus 4? 6. So negative y plus 6 equals 0. So if we move 6 to the other side, negative y equals negative 6. What does y equal? So this first ordered pair is 2, 6. Same thing on the other side. I have negative 1 minus y plus 4 equals 0. Well, what's negative 1 and positive 4? So I have negative y plus 3 equals 0. So negative y equals negative 3. Y equals what? 3. So your other ordered pair here is negative 1, 3. Now, I remember grading this test, and a lot of you got -5 on this question because you only gave me one solution. If you have something that is squared, how many solutions should you have? 2. So just make sure you guys are paying attention to stuff like that. Again, if you have a multiple choice question and you have an ordered pair or a set of ordered pairs, plug them back in.
How many are multiple choice?
I don't know, probably 30, between 35 and 40.
And then how many?
Between probably 10 and 15. All right, solve the system here. First of all, what's the problem? Is it written in standard form, ready for us to go? No. So my first one should say 2x plus 4y equals negative 4. Everybody agree? Move that 4 over. The second one, we need to rewrite this as negative 4x plus 4y equals negative 28. Now, elimination, substitution, whatever you guys want to do. What do you want to do?
Multiply the top by 2. Yeah.
Okay, you want to eliminate the x's. So multiply the top by 2. That's fine. So you get 4x plus what? 8y equals negative 8. Okay. So my x's will cancel. What's 4 plus 8? 12y equals negative 28 and a negative 8 is? What kind of 36? Negative 36. Good. So what does y equal? Negative 3. Good. So now you know what y equals. Plug it back into either one to find out what x equals. So let's just say I go to the bottom one. 4 times negative 3 minus 4x equals negative 28. So negative 12 minus 4x equals negative 28. Add 12 to both sides. Negative 4x equals, what's negative 28 plus 12? Negative 16. All right, divide by negative 4. And x equals 4. So your answer would be 4 comma negative 3. So multiple choice question. Be careful that one answer choice is written for negative 3. The other one's negative 3 comma 4. All right, just make sure you guys are paying attention to what your x value is, what your y value is. Scooting along, a couple more of these. All right, we're kind of reviewing chapter 7-ish stuff right now. What do I do to the top equation? Multiply by what? 10. Good. We want to move that decimal point. So 6x plus 14y equals 6. What about the bottom? 100. So I have negative 16x. What does this become? If I move this 2 places, what does this become? 280. Good. Y. And then what does negative 4.4 become? Negative 440. All right. Be careful with that. Yes, the first one was in front. The second two were in the middle. So just be careful. Now, I don't know if that was a typo or not, but let's check. All right, what do we want to cancel out? Want to cancel out y's? What's 14 times 20? What's 14 times 2? 28. So what's 14 times 20? 280. So let's multiply the top by 20. So I have, what does this become? 120 x plus 280y equals 120. Okay. Whoops. So that's gone. So what's negative 16 plus 120? Okay, so 104x equals, what's negative 440 and 120? What is it, negative 320? Okay, does this divide pretty? What does it become? Okay, so this is probably a typo in this question. Maybe it should have been negative 1.6. But do you guys understand the process? All right, that's what we're going for here in a question like this. All right, if it doesn't work out pretty, we would just simplify the fraction and so forth and so on. All right, look at 7. What's the problem with 7? Fractions. Can you guys work with fractions? Absolutely. But do we want to? No. So I'm going to multiply this top equation by 2. So this is going to become 2x plus y equals 9. What am I going to multiply the bottom equation by? Okay. If we multiply by 6, is my denominator going to go away? Just 6 and 4 divide into each other? What is a common number that they both have? 12. Okay, let's multiply by 12. If I multiply the top by 12, I have 12x divided by 4 equals what? 3x. Then I have 12y divided by 6 is good. And then I have 60 divided by 6. Good. Do you guys see why we didn't just use 6? In order to get all of our whole numbers, that's what we needed to do. Now, elimination substitution. Which one do you want to do? Eliminate y. Okay, so multiply top by 2. Good. So 4x plus 2y equals 18. What's 3 and 4? 7x. My 2's will cancel, and then equals 28. So what does x equal? X equals 4. Now we can take that and plug it back in and figure out what y equals. Yeah? Does it matter where I plug it in? No, I can go ahead and plug it into this one here. 2x plus y equals 9. 2 times 4 plus y equals 9. What's 2 times 4? 8 plus y equals 9. So y equals 1. Okay, so 4 comma 1. And then what can we do, guys, with our answers? We can always do what? Always plug it in and check. Good. All right, systems of equations. When we have words, remember we did a bunch of these. These are not going to go away. We're going to revisit them. But when we have a problem that has a bunch of words in it, you just got to figure out what you're talking about. Systems of equations, that means 2 variables. So it says a man invests into 2 accounts. So x plus y equals, how much money did he invest totally? What was his total investment? $26,500. Then you keep the interest stuff together. What was one of the interest rates that we used? 6%, so 0.06x. What's the other one? 0.10y equals, what is the total interest that we're talking about? $2,250. Now from this point, I'm not going to solve this one because we're doing the same thing 1,000 times. From this point, you can do a bunch of things. First of all, what would you multiply the bottom equation by? I'd multiply by 100, get rid of the decimal point. And then you can, from there, use substitution or elimination, whichever one you are more comfortable with. It doesn't matter. You'll get the correct answer as long as you do the math correct. But elimination or substitution is fine. If you have a question like number 9, the length of a rectangle is equal to triple the width. All right, let's think about this. I don't have a picture, so I'm going to draw one. I have a rectangle. All right, here's my length, and here's my width, right? Right, and solve a system to find the perimeter. How do you find the perimeter of a rectangle? You add up all the sides. So you guys agree with me that if I add L plus L and W plus W, so 2L plus 2W should equal how much? 96. Well, the first equation, or the first sentence gives us all the information we need to know about the second equation. It says the length is equal to triple the width. What does the word is mean in math? Equal. So it says the length. So L is, how do you say triple? 3. So 3 times W. So there's your 2 equations. Once you write the equations, the rest of this problem is really simple. We then would take this and plug it in there, right? So 2 times 3W plus 2W equals 96. And then you just solve for W. Once you figure out what W is, you plug it in and find L. Yeah? Okay. Let's move along. All right. Determine if the ordered triple is a solution. If this is a multiple choice question, you just plug in, tell me yes or no. If it is a free response, you actually have to show the work. So how would I show the work for this? This is my X, this is my Y, this is my Z. I have to plug it into just one of them. Where does the solution have to work? In all of them. So you would say, okay, negative 5 times 0 minus 3 times 3 plus 5. Does that equal negative 4? What's negative 5 times 0? 0. So negative 3 times 3 is negative 9 plus 5. Is that going to give me negative 4? Yep. Okay, so it works in the first equation. Let's try the second one. Negative 2 times 0 minus 2 times 3 plus 2 times 5. Negative 2 times 0 is 0. Negative 2 and 3 is negative 6 plus 10 equals 4. What's negative 6 plus 10? Does 4 equal 4? All right, we're good. So we just assume the last one works? No. All right, pay attention to what the equation says. It says Z, so 5 equals X, which is 0, plus 5. Does 5 equal 5? Yes. So is this a solution? Yes. Again, multiple choice, you just plug them in and tell me yes or no. Free response, you actually have to show whether they work or not. All right, let's do some partial fraction decompositions. All right, look at the difference between 11 and 12. 11 says find the partial fraction decomposition. What does 12 say to do? It says do not solve. That means all you need to do is write it out, set it up. All right, so let's do the 11. What's the first step here? What do I need to do? Factor what? Factor the bottom, factor the denominator. So a times c, 2 times 15. What are the factors of 30, guys? They're going to multiply to give me 30, but add to give me a 13. 10 and 3, okay? What do I need to do, both plus? What do I need to do with my a term since it's not 1? Okay, divide both of these. So you have x plus 5, and you have 2x plus 3. Does everybody agree with me? All right, so let's go one step further. What are the values I'm going to use to evaluate? I'm going to use x is negative 5, and I'm going to use x is negative 3 over 2. Good. So when we go to set this up, I have how many different denominators? 2. I have an a and a b. My two denominators, does not matter where you put what. I'm going to put x plus 5 first, and then 2x plus 3 second. So now I figure out what a has and what it needs. So a has the x plus 5. What is it missing? The 2x plus 3. All right. B has the 2x plus 3. What is it missing? The x plus 5. Good. So now in order to solve this, I have 4x minus 5 equals, and then you just write this out, a 2x plus 3 plus b x plus 5. If you're asked to just solve or just set it up, either one of these would be fine. So like for the next one, it doesn't matter to me. But now if we're going to go ahead and solve, we have to use the 2x values that we found. So negative 5. So 4 times negative 5 minus 5 equals a times 2 times negative 5 plus 3. And then what's going to happen over here with b? Negative 5 plus 5. What's going to happen there? What's negative 5 plus 5? 0. It cancels out. Every time you do this, one of them should cancel. So I have negative 20 minus 5 is negative 25. Correct? And on the right-hand side with a, I have negative 10 plus 3. It's going to give me negative 7a. Divide both sides by negative 7. So a equals 25 over 7. This one's a tad bit harder because you're going to have a fraction, but that's okay. So you have 4 times negative 3 over 2 minus 5 equals, what's going to happen with a? It's going to cancel, so I'm not even going to bother writing it. So let's simplify a little bit. This is 1, this is 2. So I have negative 6 minus 5, negative 11. If I change 5, the whole number 5 into seconds, you guys agree with me, it's 10 over 2. So this will give me 7 over 2b. How do I get rid of that 7 over 2? All right, divide by 7 over 2 or multiply by the reciprocal, 2 over 7. So b equals negative 22 over 7. Now, how do we write our answer? Well, my a term is 25 over 7. So 25 over 7 over x plus 5. And then my b was negative 22 over 7 over 2x plus 3. Is that correct? Is that 100% correct? What do I need to do with these 7s? I got to put them down in the denominator. So this would be 25 over 7 times x plus 5 plus, or you could say minus if you want to, but make sure you have the negative 22 over 7 times 2x plus 3. Don't ever leave it as a fraction on top of a fraction. No. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. You can leave it just like that. So for the next one, you would do the same thing. You would factor the bottom and set it up. You just don't have to solve it. So factor the bottom. How many different denominators are you going to have on the bottom one for 12? 3. Good. Good, good, good. All right, moving along. Okay, guys, I'm going to do one of these. If you have a free response and it says use Gaussian, you got to do the long way, right? But if you have a multiple choice and it has 3 or 4 or 5 answers, what can you do with the answer choices that they give you? You can just plug them in. I would suggest doing that. Don't waste your time if you can work backwards, if you can work smarter. So if we're going to do a question like number 13 and use the elimination, we need row echelon form. That means I need one equation that says XYZ, one equation that says YZ, and one that says just Z equals. What is the rule? What do I have to have my first equation to say? Positive 1x. Do I have that right now? No. Could I move this bottom one up to the top and divide everything by -1? All right, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to move this up here and say x plus 3y plus 4z equals 3. Does everybody agree with me? All right, that's my first equation. I'm going to put that right here in my funny little bracket thing. So x plus 3y plus 4z equals 3. So now we go through the process. We take 1 and 2 and eliminate what letter? X. So x plus 3y plus 4z equals 3. And then you have 2x plus 7y plus 3z equals -7. What am I going to multiply the top by? -2, okay. So I have -2x minus 6y minus 8z equals -6. So this cancels. I'm left with 1y minus 5z equals -13. Everybody agree? All right, that's my second equation. Y minus 5z equals -13. Now I have to do the process all over again. I have to take 1 and 3 and eliminate what? I'm going to take 1 and 3 and I'm going to eliminate x's. So I have x plus 3y plus 4z equals 3. And then I have 2x plus 8y plus 6z equals -4. Does anybody notice anything about that second equation? I mean, the third in our list of equations, but you notice anything? You could divide everything by 2 if you wanted to. If you see that you could divide through by a number to make your number smaller, feel free. You don't have to, but if you see it, go ahead and do it. So I'm going to multiply the top by -2. So I have -2x minus 6y minus 8z equals -6. So if we eliminate our x's cancel. I have 2y minus 2z equals -10. Now at this point, if you see, oh, I can divide everything by 2, go ahead. If you don't want to, you don't see it, no big deal. But what do I do now with these 2 equations that I have left over? I'm going to find z. I'm going to combine these 2, and I'm going to find my z value. It does not matter which one you put on top, which one, doesn't matter. So I'm just going to write y minus 5z equals -13, and 2y minus 2z equals -10. So multiply the top by what? -2? Okay. So -2y plus 10z equals 26. What happens to my y's? They cancel. So -2 and 10 is 8z equals 16. Z equals what? 2. So z equals 2. Have we answered the question? Half of it. Partly. Right? I got into my row echelon form, but now I need to find the ordered triple. How would I find the ordered triple? What do we call this? Back what? Back substitution. Take your z value, plug it in to find y. So I have y minus 5 times 2 is 10 equals -13. So add 10 to both sides, y equals what? -3. Now I take this value and my z value to find x. So you have x plus 3 times -3 would be -9, plus 4 times 2 is 8, equals 3. So x minus 1 equals 3. So x equals 4. So your answer would be 4, negative 3, 2. And then what could you do with that to make sure you're right? Yeah, you could plug it all back in. All right, same thing. Same thing for 14, same process. What would I do here for 15? I got to plug in the bottom one. Can I plug it in exactly how it is right now? No, I'd have to divide both sides by 4, right? So z equals negative 3/4. And then you take that, plug it in there, get your y, plug the y and the z into the top one. You guys remember that? Okay, good deal. All right, let's talk about given the augmented matrix and all that good stuff, right? This is a gimme question. If you need to, right at the top, this is my x column, this is my y, this is my z, and what are these? The answers. So I could write this as 9x plus 0y plus 11z equals negative 3. Do I have to write the 0y? No, but if some of you like to, because you just like to see everything represented, that's fine. So my next equation would be negative 6x plus 2y plus 5z equals 2. Then I have 7x minus y plus 0z equals 1. And then my last one is 1x plus 0y minus 8z equals negative 7. Questions? All right. If you're asked to determine the dimensions of a matrix, how do we read matrices? It's row, left and right, by column, which is which one? Up and down. Guys, think about your XY chart. If you were asked, or a coordinate plane, if you were asked to plot a point, which way do you go first? Left and right, which is your X, and then up and down. So how many rows do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah? By how many columns? 1, 2, 3. This is a 5 by 3. Questions? All right, good. Okay, I'm not going to do all of these. I feel like we just did these questions not too long ago. But if you are going to add and subtract, all right, if you're looking at A and B, can you always add and subtract every matrix? No. For adding and subtracting, the dimensions have to be what? All right, so dimensions have to be the same. A 2 by 2 plus a 2 by 2. A 3 by 2 minus a 3 by 2, whatever. The dimensions have to be the same. All right, in a question like C or D, what do you have to do first before you add and subtract? Okay, find the dimensions. And then what does that negative 5/4 out in front mean? Or that negative 6 in front of the B? You got to distribute. It's just multiplication. It's scalar multiplication. You're going to multiply in, and then you're going to multiply it out. I mean, yeah, multiply and then add, subtract. Now, the last two are multiplication. B times A. What is the B? What are the dimensions of the B matrix? It's a 2 by 3. Okay, B is a 2 by 3. What is A? It's a 2 by 3. It's a 2 by 3. Look at the middle here. Are these dimensions in the middle the same? No. So can I multiply these? No, this is impossible. Remember, order matters and dimension matters. A times B may not be the same as B times A. So just pay attention to what you are given and what it looks like. All right, let's look at C times B. What are the dimensions of C? It's a 3 by 2. What are the dimensions of B? A 2 by 3. Are the dimensions in the middle here the same? Yes, that means you can multiply this. So this is going to end up being a 3 by 3. A 3 by 3. The bell's going to ring in 1 minute, so I'll finish this, and then I'll finish the last slide, and then I'll post this, okay? All right, so if you're going to multiply C times B, you have to write down the C matrix, which is 0, 2, negative 4. So 0, 2, negative 4. And then negative 5, 3, 7. So negative 5, 3, 7. Order matters. It says C times B, so C has to go first. And then B is 2, 1, 2. I said assignments. And then 5, negative 6, 5. All right, so your answers are going to be in a 3 by 3. So you're going to take first row, first column. So I'm going to find that piece right there. So if I take the first row times the first column. So 0 times 2 is 0. So let's put our answer here. So 0 times 2 is 0. Right? First row, first column. So 0 times 2 is 0 plus, what's negative 5 and positive 5? Negative 25, right? So this piece right here is negative 25. So I'm going to go first row, second column. So 0 times 1 is 0. Negative 5 and negative 6 is positive 30, correct? So this is 30. And then I have first row, third column. So 0 times 2 is 0. And negative 5 and 5 is negative 25. So this is negative 25. Everybody with? So now second row. This one here. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 5 is 15. So 4 and 15 is 19. 2 times 1 is, do it over here, 2. And then 3 times negative 6, negative 18. So negative 16. And then 2 times 2 is 4, and 3 times 5 is 15, so 19 again. So now we'll do this last one. So negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. 7 times 5 is 35. So what's negative 8 and 35? 28? Yeah? 27? What is it? Camilo, negative 8 and 35. 27, okay. So then negative 4 and 1 is negative 4. 7 and negative 6 is negative 42. So it gives you negative 46. Negative 4 and 2 is negative 8. 7 and 5 is 35. So we get, what again, 27? And then this is your answer. But remember, you cannot multiply unless the dimensions on the inside are the same. Yeah? All right, let's talk about inverse. How do you find the inverse? Well, first you have to find, think about it, you're going to find this number under here, and then you have to multiply it into, yep, AD, good. So 2 times negative 3 minus 5 times negative 9. So 2 times negative 3 is going to be negative 6. Minus a negative is going to be plus, right? So 45. So what's negative 6 and 45? 39, yeah? So 39 goes down here. That's your number underneath. If that number were to be 0, there would be no inverse. But since it's not 0, we're okay. So now how do we figure out what to put inside? We're going to switch the places of our major. So negative 3 is going to come up here and 2 is going to come down here. And then you negate the signs of the minor. So negative 9 becomes positive. Positive 5 becomes negative. And then what are we doing here? We distribute. So you're going to have negative 3 over 39, which is going to be negative 1 over 13. 9 over 39, which is going to be 3 over 13. Negative 5 over 39, and then 2 over 39. So again, the only time it's no inverse is when this number underneath here, the determinant, is 0. Yeah? All right, how do you find the determinant with a 3 by 3? What's the rule? What do you got to do first? Right, recopy the first two columns. So 0, 2, negative 4, and then this is going to be negative 2, 8, and 0. So we have here, here, wait, here, here, here. 0 times 8 times 7 is 0. Negative 2 and 7 is negative 14 times negative 4. 56. And then 1 times 2 times 0, 0. Minus, go the other way. What's negative 4 times 8 times 1? It's going to be negative 32, right? Whoops. Negative 32. 0 times 7 times 0 is 0. And then 7 times negative 4, negative 28. So you have 56 minus, what's negative 32 and a negative 28? 32 and 28 is 0, 60? Yeah? Okay, so negative minus negative does what? Plus. So be careful on something like this if it's multiple choice. One of the answer choices will be 56 minus 60.
Only short answer we got.
I'm not sure yet. So 56 and 60, what is this, 110? No. One, yeah. So 160, I'm looking at the wrong number. Probably between 35 and 40 multiple choice, and then between 10 and 15 free response. Somewhere around there. All right, use Cramer's Rule. How do we use Cramer's Rule? Remember the 4 things you got to find? You got to find the determinant. Then you have to find d sub x, d sub y, and d sub z. Now, if this is a multiple choice question and it says to use Cramer's Rule, am I going to know whether to use Cramer's Rule or not? If it's multiple choice. No, you just plug in answers. If you have anything that's solving and it's x, y, z, and it's multiple choice, just work backwards. But if this is a free response question, you're actually going to have to work it out. So just let's do this quickly, and then we're good to go. So your determinant, it's just the coefficients. So coefficients of the first one, negative 1, 1, negative 1. Second one would be 2, negative 1, 1. And the third one is 3, 2, and 1. So now recopy first 2 columns.
Are we going to have to know the formulas?
I'm going to give you all the formulas you're going to need to know. Right? We recopy, and then let's find our determinant. This is where you got to really be careful and take your time. Watch signs. So negative 1, negative 1, negative 1 is negative 1. 1 times 1 times 3 is plus 3. What?
Isn't it just one of
Oh, there's only one negative, my bad. And then 2 times 2 is 4, and negative 1, so negative 4, yeah? So here, here, here. So 3 times negative 1 and negative 1 is just 3. 2 times 1 and negative 1 is negative 2. 1 times 2, so then plus 2. So 1 plus 3 is 4, minus 4 is 0. Minus 3 minus 2 is 1, plus 2 is 3. So negative 3 is your determinant value, negative 3. If that were to be 0, what would your answer for this whole thing be? No solution. Can't happen. Because you're going to divide everything by that. So it'd just be 0. If it's 0, it's no solution. So now to find your d sub x. What do you replace the x column with? The answer. So negative 15, 18, and 6. Then y is 1, negative 1, 2. And then z is negative 1, 1. So recopy. So negative 15, 18, and 6. 1, negative 1, and 2. And now we have here, here, here. All right, so negative 15, negative 1, and 1 is just 15. 1 times 6 is plus 6. 18 times 2 is 36, right? So negative 36 minus here, here, here. Negative is positive, so this becomes 6 minus 30 plus 18. So 15 plus 6, 21 minus 36. Negative 15, good. Minus 6 minus 30, negative 24, plus 18. Negative 6. Okay. Now what happens here? Okay, negative 15 minus the negative is plus. This is going to give me negative what? 9. Negative 9. Now, at this point, guys, it's a good thing to do is kind of look and say, hey, is this going to divide pretty? When I say pretty, it may not necessarily always be a whole number, but it won't be like a gross fraction. So if I divide here, does it make sense that your x value would be positive 3? Yeah. So now if you can catch a mistake early on, it's good to do that. So let's go to the next one. I'm going to find d sub y. So instead of my y, what am I plugging in? Instead of the y column, what do you plug in? The answers. So x is going to be negative 1, 2, 3. So negative 1, 2, and 3. Then I have my answers, negative 15, 18, and 6. And then my z is going to be negative 1, 1, 1. Recopy, so negative 1, 2, 3, negative 15, 18, and 6. So here, here, and here. You guys just watch me. Negative 18 minus 45 minus 12. You guys agree? All right, minus. Check me so I don't make a mistake. What's 18 and 3? 48? No. 54, yeah, I don't know why I said that. Negative 54, negative 6, and negative 30. What's negative 18, negative 45, and negative 12? 18, 45, and 12. How much? Okay, negative 75 minus, what's negative 54, negative 6, and negative 30? Negative 90. All right, so minus a negative, we're going to do what? Positive. So what's negative 75 plus 90? 15. So 15 here. What do I do with 15? I divide it by what? Negative 3. So does it make sense that 15 divided by negative 3, negative 5 is a conceivable answer? Yeah. So now to find the z, do the same thing we've been doing. D sub z. I got my x's, so negative 1, 2, 3, negative 1, 2, 3. My y's, 1, negative 1, 2, 1, negative 1, 2. And then my answers, so negative 15, 18, and 6. So recopy 1 and 2, so negative 1, 2, 3, 1, negative 1, 2. So here we go again. Negative 1, and 6 is 6. 18 and 3 is 54, right? And then negative 15 and 4 is minus 60. All right, so minus, here, here, here. What is this, 45? All right, and then I have minus 36 plus 12, all right? So 6 and 54 is 60 minus 60 is 0, correct? Minus, what's 45 minus 36 plus 12? How much? Positive or negative? It's positive, right? So this actually is negative 21. So I go back up here and I say, okay, my d sub z is negative 21. If I divide that by negative 3, I get positive 3. So that's a long way to arrive at an answer. I understand that. But what can you do once you get this order triple just to make sure that you're right? You can plug it back in. Yeah. Okay, good.